TFL EV is brought to you by Flow Charger, maker of reliable, high-quality charging stations for your electric vehicle.
Hey everybody, welcome to a brutally cold day here in Colorado. We're sitting at just under 0 degrees Fahrenheit, like -1, -2, and we're about to run a range test in my Mini Cooper SE, the fully electric Mini Cooper. We're gonna see about how far we can go on a single charge, and then we're gonna come back next week when it's in the 50s or 60 degree territory and run the same test and see how much farther we can go in warm weather than cold weather in this Mini Cooper. So you can see it is -1 degree Fahrenheit outside according to the Mini Cooper. That's -18 degrees Celsius. This has been one of the coldest days here on record in Colorado. Now we're sitting at 90% state of charge, and the Mini is predicting just 49 miles, which is shocking considering that this car is rated at 114 according to the EPA on a single charge during the EPA test cycle. So I think we're going to see a pretty massive hit on range here. Now, the Mini was plugged in overnight inside my garage. It was probably like 20 degrees in the garage overnight, which is still very, very cold. But we're going to full charge this Mini to 100% and then hit the road. We're going to hit the highway. We're going to do 70 miles an hour consistently today and see how far we can go on a single charge. While we are plugged in here waiting for a full charge, let's talk about some of the parameters. So we're actually going to go heated seats off for this test. We're going to go automatic climate control 68 degrees, and then we'll do the same exact thing once we get a little bit warmer here in Colorado and we can run this test again. The SE does have a couple of different drive modes here. We've got Sport, Mid, Green, and Green Plus. Now the Mini will default to the Mid mode, which is just your standard driving program. So that's where we're going to run this test. So check this out. This Mini Cooper SE has a heat pump, which is a very efficient way to heat the cabin compared to like a resistive heater. And we have it set to 68 degrees on auto, and it's predicting 62 miles of range. Now, if I turn the heater off altogether, check out what happens. That range number will jump from 62 to 87. That's how much of an impact the heater can make in terms of range, at least according to the Mini. Now, realistically, people aren't going to be running with their heater off, especially when it's, well, now it's reading 1 degree Fahrenheit. So we're going to turn the heater on, set it to 68 for this test, and then do the same for when it warms up as well. So when you're at a charging station, it's always best to stop charging at 80%. We are going to 100% because, of course, we're doing this test. Over 80%, vehicles charge really, really slowly. Now, here's the thing, right? We actually have 3 or 4 EVs lined up that just pulled in. I'm just sitting here basically blocking the charger, pulling 3 kilowatts at 99%. We've been here for a number of minutes, so as close as makes no difference, we are full. I'm going to unplug just to be a good person and let these people go. I know I want to make these videos, but these people have their lives to go on with, so I don't want to be selfish. So I'm going to unplug. Car's reading 60 miles of range, and let's go hit the road. Alright, well the good thing about that EA station is it's pretty much right off the start of the highway here. So now we are cruising along at 70 miles an hour. Now the road is wet. We did get a considerable amount of snow, so we do have some wetness on the road. Luckily, not too much snow on the actual surface of the road, which is good. So hopefully when we rerun this efficiency test, we'll also have fairly similar conditions. They're not like soaking wet, they're more just damp. But yeah, speed limit here is 75 miles an hour. I'm going to set the cruise at 70, and we're going to drive until the turnaround point and then make our way back. All right, so we've been cruising along on the highway here for a number of miles. Things are going pretty darn well, and the road dried out on the main highway, which is good too, shortly after we stopped filming that last clip. So we got mostly dry conditions, which is just great news. So we're gonna spin around here. Now the car is reading -2 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so it is pretty frosty. Although I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna be like, that's not that cold. I take my dog to the beach when it's -2. But for most Americans, it's pretty darn cold. So we're gonna flip around here and start going back the other direction. Now, we're down to 57% state of charge, so certainly we could go a little bit further, but I do not want to be stranded out here in the cold, and this isn't an all-out range test. This is more focused on efficiency. How much more efficient is an EV when it gets warmer than when it's really, really cold. So this will give us a good number. Now we've traveled so far 33 miles to get to this point. So I think we're certainly going to beat that 60-mile estimate that the car had. Well, we better, or we're not going to make it back to the charger. But still, that's roughly half of what I can do with this car in the summer. I typically do about 120 miles or so per charge, depending on conditions. So it's a pretty big hit. Now, when we redo this test next week, it's not going to be summer conditions because I can't just pull 80 degrees out of thin air like that here in Colorado, but it certainly will be warmer than it is today. This is actually one of the coldest days on record here in this state, so this is a pretty serious conditions. All right, so we're about to pull into the Charger. Now, of course, the side roads here are still very, very, very covered in snow, and it's a good thing that I have my all-weather tires on. Not all season, there's a big difference. All-weather tires are 3-peak snow rated. This is the Michelin Cross Climate 2s. This is the same tire I'll run on the slightly warmer test, right? But you really need these tires on the Mini Cooper SE because the Cooper SE, believe it or not, has a summer tire from the factory, which is completely useless in the winter and very, very, very dangerous. So I'm glad I'm running these all-weather tires that are snow rated, but they do have a pretty big impact on efficiency. It's also worth noting that I have different wheels too. These are my winter wheels, they're 16 inches and they're not an aero design like the factory ones. Back at the Charger, 12%, and we've gone, let's see, 65.7 miles, 12%, and averaged 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's our final result, and we're at 12%. So what's that? 99% down to 12. That's 87%. So 87% to go 65.7 miles. Better than I thought I would do in these like sub-zero conditions. But here, let's go cut to a warmer day, and we'll try it again. Well, this is the great thing about Colorado. We waited a couple days and now it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm gonna plug the Mini back into the station. We're gonna charge up to that 99% state of charge, and then we're gonna hit the road and do the exact same efficiency loop. Let's go do that. All right, check it out. The car is reading 60 degrees Fahrenheit out there, which is what is that, 63 degrees warmer than just a few days ago. And we're gonna run the same test, the same loop, and see what the range difference is, or the efficiency difference is on the exact same route. We are charged up to the same point as last time, 99%. The car is estimating 92 miles of range. So we're going to put the car into normal mode, just like we did last time, same climate settings, and then hit the road. All right, so things are looking really good now that it's warmed up quite a bit. The highest I saw on this drive was 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it's sitting at 59, and we are about to make our pull-off. Now, as a reminder, when it was really, really cold, we made this pull-off with right around 55 to 57% remaining, and we are sitting right now at 72% remaining. So that's a pretty big improvement. We're talking like a 15% improvement over the last 30 and a bit miles. Let's see how far we've gone. This is the same turnaround, 32.4 miles, and we're at 72%. And last time we were at like 57. So yeah, 15% improvement just in one direction, which is pretty amazing, especially considering how small the battery is on this car relative to most new EVs. So just like last time, I'm going to exit the highway here, flip around, go back the other direction, cruise set at 70 miles an hour. Now, variables, there's a few things I couldn't control. It's dried out a lot since the last time I did this test. It was pretty wet in some areas on the highway, and now today it's almost completely dry. I'd like that to be a little bit more smooth, you know, for a more scientific result, but I can't really control the road wetness. When it gets cold here in Colorado, oftentimes it means snow, and the couple days leading up to that first test, we did get some snow. Now, a lot of the road was dry, some of it was wet today, a lot of it's dry, and a little bit's wet, but that's okay. We're just we're gonna see what happens once we get back to the Charger. All right, folks, we're about to pull back into the Chargers. Do you want to pan on over here, Cole? You can get a shot of that. Here, I'm gonna back up into this guy. Now that was a really good trip, very consistent compared to our last run, which I am excited about. And we're gonna take a look at some data and see how the cold run and the warm run compare. So let's dive into the computer and see what the difference is. So we averaged 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. That's significantly better than last time, which was in the mid 2 mile per kilowatt hour territory, like 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. So we gained right around 1 mile per kilowatt hour on the warm route. Now we traveled with an average speed of 39.3 miles an hour and a total distance. Now we traveled a total distance of 65.5 miles. Very similar to last time because it was the same route. And moment of truth, we're sitting at 38%. And last time at the same exact spot, we were here with right around 12%. So that's a difference of 26% over just 65 miles. That's enormous. That's such a big deal. So 26% more remaining today versus when it was really cold outside. So temperature really can have a huge impact on EVs, even on EVs like this Mini that has a heat pump, which would be a really efficient way of heating the cabin. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I'm pretty shocked at those results. As always, this has been Tommy behind the camera, Cole. We'll see you in the next video.